Welcome back, everyone. Sometimes you just lose a fight with your trimmer. You know, it just happens. Last time we beat Sabrina, we lost Corvus Squire in one of the saddest fashions possible. Um, we've lost a lot of Pokemon in the past couple weeks. Ever since the Sifco incident, it's just been all bad. So our goal right now is to get to Cinnabar. What is the fastest way for me to get there? It'd be through Diglett Cave. I mean, I could always fly, but I don't really feel like flying. Let's heal up. I don't think I've healed up yet. I did heal up, obviously. I see the Pokemon's in there. Yeah, I'll hop into some Wrestle Talk real quick. What's happened in the past week? I really don't remember much about Dynamite. The 5th anniversary show happened, and I just kind of felt confused by the card. Like, why was Soraya in a match? You know, why was that a selling point? Bryan and Okada was okay, which is weird to say. It just felt like it was a weird stipulation, the first 20 minutes thing. I understand why, but it just felt like it never mattered. It never felt like, oh yeah, for sure, this match is only going to go 20 minutes, you know? Not a fan of how it ended either. It just feels like that's a match that deserved more. Like, we had the original, we had the follow-up at Wrestle Kingdom, and then this is the rubber match, and it just felt like it should have had a proper payoff, and instead it was the weird interference angle with Moxley and I don't know, I don't think they have a name, but the new Blackpool Combat Club. That's really all I remember from Dynamite. Nothing else really clicked. Which is kind of sad, because it was a big show, and like any other time I'd be so hyped for Bryan versus Okada, but it didn't feel like it mattered, and I just didn't feel like Okada was trying. I don't know. I don't remember anything else on the show. SmackDown was loaded this week, or last week. The dumpster match was really surprising. I mean, I've been enjoying Michin these past couple months. I feel like they've given her time, and she's made the best of it. Chelsea Green has always been great at doing what she needs to do. The one thing that kind of weirded me out the dumpster match was they had a camera angle that they kept going back to, where you could see the padding inside the dumpster. And I get that, obviously, you know, they're not going to toss it into a regular dumpster that's unprotected. It just felt like normally they would have hidden that better, and they didn't. So it was weird. But really solid match. A lot of fun little spots. The ladder match was crazy. It's been a while since we had a ladder match on regular WWE TV, I think. I think they said it was like 5 years. So to me that says 2019. And I don't remember shit about 2019 SmackDown. That was such a dark era. It was good, and then the Bloodline retained, and it just felt like I think the crowd wanted to see the Profits or DIY win it. I was rooting for the Profits personally. I don't really think I care for DIY. I just feel like they had their moments in NXT, and then for some reason we like kept repeating the same story of, oh, now they betray each other, now they're a team again. I need cut. I gotta go back through Diglett Cave or teach someone cut. But yeah, I don't know. It's not even like they're bad, it's just that I haven't had a reason to care about them. I don't want to give cuts to any of these guys. Guess we're going back through Diglett Cave. Yeah, really solid match. I just felt like the Profits should have won. it's weird because SmackDown has a pretty solid tag division, and like on paper, if you put any of those guys in matches, I think that they're usually going to deliver. But they also haven't really given a reason to care about the tag division. So I don't know. I don't know what the cure to that is, other than giving them more time and better storylines. I don't know. The tag division really hasn't. I feel like it hasn't been in a good position since that first Judgment Day tag reign where they beat KO and Sammy, or where they beat KO and Sammy, and then that first reign was okay up until they lost to Cody and Jay, and then Cody and Jay immediately lost the titles back, and it just felt like, oh, what are we doing? And since then, it feels like the tag titles really haven't mattered that much on either brand. I'm hoping they fix that, because there's good tag teams. It's just there's no reason to care about the division outside of if you're already invested in a tag team who hasn't had a relevant storyline in like 2 or 3 years at this point. Yeah, ladder match was cool. I don't really know if I care about the stuff going on with LA Knight right now. Like, Carmella and Andrade have had what is essentially like a best of 7 series at this point. And every man in the match has been good. But it just feels like there needs to be the payoff to it already. You know, like, alright, are they going to be... they both going to be battling for the US title? Is it going to be one of them and then they continue their feud? AJ came back and then got injured, and I'm really hoping that that's just a storyline. That one country star that they keep bringing out, who no one fucking likes or knows who he is, called AJ the Phenomenal Forearm. That was you know, great moment. Yeah, SmackDown was really good last week. It feels like they were holding off on putting on good shows until they got to USA. NXT was killing last week. They put Ty back on Trick, which was the right move to do. I feel like the whole reason that they took him off was just to give CW a big title win on their first show. Roxanne and Julia was great. Just a solid show all around. My boy Oba Femi came out. Again, just dude has all the charisma in the world. Man, even Wes Lee and the dude from TNA, whose name I can't remember. I normally don't like either of them, but that was a fun street fight. You know, NXT is just doing probably the best brand right now. And then there's Bad Blood. Man, that Punk and Drew match, great match. I don't think it'd be like my best match of the year, because AEW's put on a lot of great matches, especially with Bryan. But in WWE, that might be my match of the year so far. Just a really, not just a good match, but it feels like it's a match that Hell in a Cell desperately needed. I can't remember the last time I felt like Hell in a Cell lived up to its name. It'd probably be like Undertaker versus Edge, or was it Taker versus Batista? Taker versus Batista. I think that was the last time. Maybe I could make the argument for the end of an era match. And even then, like, I like that match, but my issue with it is just... I'm just going to fly there. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm going through all that trouble. My issue with that match was just... I don't know why it necessarily needed to be Hell in a Cell. If it was, like, Michaels Taker, sure, Hell in a Cell makes sense, but it was Triple H, who had lost the earlier and then was like just talking shit for some reason, and that led to Hell in a Cell. I don't remember anyone bleeding in that match. which I feel like in Hell in a Cell you need, you know. So when I think of like the last Hell in a Cell where I'm like, yeah, that's a fucking match, would have been like Edge Taker or Taker Batista, one of those two. Yeah. But yeah, the Drew and Punk put on a hell of a show, and it just feels like that's the kind of match that Hell in a Cell is supposed to be. It felt like the end of a feud. It had the blood it needed to. It just had a lot of spots you could only do inside Hell in a Cell. It wasn't one of those weird matches where it's like, yeah, man, this is Hell in a Cell, and they just don't really do shit outside of occasionally throwing each other into the ropes or something. Rollout. But yeah, that match was incredible, and it should have been the main event. If I had a nickel for every time that The Rock came and took away a main event that should have been CM Punk's, I'd have at least 2 nickels. At least 2. Which is just insane to think about, because how often does The Rock show up and do that, right? The rest of the card was pretty lackluster to bad. And it's hard to say, because there's some instances like the Bayley and Nia match. I think that was bad. But there were just so many spots where it was like, oh, that was a really big mistake. That kind of took me out of it. I like the ending. I like what they're setting up with Tiffany. Like, it wasn't a bad match. It just wasn't as good as it should have been. I don't know. I like the ref bump a lot in that match. That was just Nia just following and just flattening the referee. Really good spot. Liv versus Rhea. I don't get the appeal of Liv. What do I want to call you? But yeah, it just felt like such a rough match the entire way through. I think Liv is super slow and awkward and clunky in the ring. The Dominic stuff was cool. You know, that spot where he falls out of the cage and just dangling by his leg, that shit was legit scary. And you can see that they're setting something up where it's like, all right, he's gonna have to come out, you know, the way he's leaning out. But I just did not expect that to be the way it happened. And for a moment there, I was like, oh shit. You know, just thinking that my boy Dom was going to die. And even with my issues with, like, Liv, the match was serviceable. Like, it was like, alright, this is a match that I'm not going to complain about. Like, it's okay. But then the ending happened and just completely destroyed it. And it was like, man, this went from like a 6 out of 10 match to like a 3. And those 3 points were just because of the Dom spot. I'm ready for this feud to end. I don't like Liv as champion, but I also don't think Rhea needs a title. You know, just let Rhea move on to another division. Let her move to SmackDown. Let her move into the tag division. You know, just give her something outside of Liv and Dom for a minute. Build up to that Bianca match if they're not trying to build up Jade and Bianca instead. And I can't think of anyone on the Raw side of things that I could say is a viable challenger for Liv. I think Zelina's like the next in line from what they've been building. But she's stuck in that storyline with the I forget their name, the Pure Fusion Collective or whatever. So I don't know. It just feels like you got to build up another challenger real quick because this storyline has passed its natural conclusion. That like it should have been in at Bad Blood. What the fuck else happened at Bad Blood outside of the main event? Oh, Priest and Finn. That was a good match, but it just felt like I feel like Priest should have won, or not Priest. I feel like Finn should have won that one. It felt weird to have Damian overcome the entire Judgment Day minus Dom in a single match. The part where Finn is just hitting his finisher and like landing on Damian's neck, I was like, yeah, dude, coup de grace twice. Third one ends it right there. And instead, Damian just won immediately after, and I just felt like, oh, I like Damian, but I don't think that was the right move. And it's weird. Finn is the one person on the WWE roster where I feel like, yeah, you should have gone to AEW. I don't feel that for anyone else, but Finn is just, he's had all these moments where it's like, yeah, it should be Finn. It should be him right now. This is his moment. And then they don't pull the trigger. And then it's just like, oh, all right, well, that was it. I really feel like you just kind of missed out on something there. Just these past couple of years alone. Like I'll even go back to like 2020 or 2020. Yeah, was it 2020 2021 with Demon Finn versus Tribal Chief? You know, you had that. You had the Hell in a Cell match with Edge. You had the SummerSlam match with Seth. It just feels like every time that it should be his moment, it just doesn't happen for some reason. I think these are all Magic Carps, right? But yeah, it bums me out, and I feel like Finn would really benefit from going to AEW and just getting used properly. There's no way he doesn't immediately go to the main event scene, you know? Oh, Ricochet and Ospreay happened on Dynamite. I liked a majority of that match. They did the stupid superhero spot, and just that kills it for me. I was like, I don't care anymore. It's a dumb spot. I hate it. I never want to see it again. But they did it. AEW does this weird thing where they'll try to protect people by going like, oh, time limit draw. And it's like, okay, you want to set the rematch? No, we're going to give them 5 more minutes. And they do it a lot. Like, that's what happens a lot. And it's really weird that they fall back on it as much as they do. But then Takashita come out, beat them both up. And I was like, alright, we're building that, I guess. It'll be a good match. I'm excited for it. I just feel like they could have waited on Ricochet and Ospreay and gave them a definitive finish at a later point in time. Yeah, then the main event for Bad Blood. First of all, the marching band fucked up. That was rough. That was rough to hear. It sucks. I've seen the video of the band playing Cody's theme. It's a great video. The band does great. It's really energetic. And then the Bad Blood version happened, and it was like, oof. I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one at all. I don't even think the orchestra was playing when Roman came out. They just kind of were standing there, and they were just kind of standing there. Um, the match was good. You know, it's weird because the match was the main event based off, you know, just the aura of Roman and Cody teaming together and the idea that The Rock was coming back. But it just felt like, man, this was Hell in a Cell's night. This was Punk and Drew's moment. I don't know, man. I don't think The Rock warranted that spot, especially because all he did was walk out and not do shit. Having Jimmy back is cool. I like the moment with him and Roman where they hug. I liked Cody just fucking hitting one of these and then jumping off the turnbuckle. I like that they're saving the Jacob and Roman interactions for later. They're trying to make that a big match, which is cool. Jacob Fatu is just, you could tell that dude has it, you know? You could tell that dude's gonna be a star. And I like Solo. It just feels like he's gotten lost in the shuffle in all this. It feels like I just don't think he's believable in this role. I don't know. We'll see where it goes with The Rock. Then they had KO attack Cody after the show. And this is one thing that I've always felt like wrestling should be doing is the way they handled it. Like, they didn't have any WWE cameras. I mean, I'm sure they did. You know, I'm sure there's at least one. But they didn't release it on WWE, you know, Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or they didn't even talk about it today on Raw. They just ignored it. They were like, yeah, some shit happened, we're handling it internally. And to me, that's the way to do it. Like, every bit of footage we got has been from fans in attendance. And to me, that it's such a nice idea. Just be like, yeah, our two wrestlers got into a fight in the parking lot, and the only footage we have is grainy fan footage where fans are losing their minds and they're crying, like, please don't do this, you know. I much prefer that to the dumbass NXT Anonymous Twitter account. I hate that shit. That shit's so dumb. But this was executed really nicely, and I just wish wrestling did more of it. Like, we just had the whole Taz got jumped thing, and I get the idea, like, okay, you know, Taz genuinely needs surgery, let's run out. But if he was really there, you know, I think he came in or some shit and then didn't go. That's the storyline reason. Just film getting jumped in a parking lot. Doesn't even have to be, you know, that parking lot. But if he had walked on to the arena and then got in, jumped in front of the fans, that shit would have been cool. It would have been a cool way to spread it. I'm hoping we see more of that kind of stuff in wrestling. Today's Raw, okay, so we had the Goldberg segment. I don't want to see Goldberg, man. I don't want to see Goldberg at all. I'm afraid they're going to do like another Fiend bullshit match where Goldberg no-sells Gunther's offense and then beats him and wins the title in like 5 minutes. I was having flashbacks when it happened, man. I was like, oh, this ain't good. And then I thought, hey, maybe they're going to have Goldberg come out, spear Gunther. Gunther loses the title. Sammy wins, and we have Goldberg versus Gunther set up. That shit didn't happen. And it was weird seeing Raw back to 2 hours. I don't mind it because there was a lot of filler on Raw, or just moments where it was like, yeah, that was like 10 minutes of entrances for a tag match, you know? So I don't mind it in that regard, but it does kind of feel like, oh, I don't know if I need a week of hype for R-Truth versus Miz. You could just do that now. And that element is kind of gone because they only have 2 hours to work with. But at the same time, I feel like what was on the show was really strong and important. Like, it was like, all right, we have this match set up. All right, next match go. Next match go. Everything just felt like one thing after another had to happen, and I feel like they handled the time way better than they used to. So I don't know. We'll see what happens in 2 hours. But I feel like if Raw's going to be 2 hours, pay-per-views have to have like at minimum 4 hours and at minimum 7 matches to make up for what we don't get on TV anymore. Because they've been using TV as like a way to extend reviews, like SmackDown having the ladder match and the street fight or the dumpster match, you know, and then Raw having the world title match and and stuff like that. So I feel like if we're gonna go 2 hours, you have to extend the pay-per-view times. Um, I like the 5 match format. I think it's comfy. I think it works really well for what they want to do. But it worked because of how much WWE TV we got in a week. And if we're losing an hour of that, I think pay-per-views need to cover that. Um, yeah, it was a pretty solid week for wrestling, you know. I'm really looking forward to this Bloodline storyline. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Gunther and hopefully not losing to fucking Goldberg. The match with Sammy was great tonight. It just, I'm ready to see Sammy win it. I've been ready since No Way Out or Elimination Chamber. I don't remember what we're calling it. Like I'm ready. You know, I'm ready to see it happen. And it just, man, it's just that slow drip tease that we've been on for the longest time with Sammy. But I'm ready for it. And that's another thing about Netflix coming up in the next couple months is it's going to be nice to be able to be watching Raw live. Because right now I'm watching on the West Coast feed. So going into the match, like I checked Twitter and I was like, oh, I know Sammy's not winning. And that kills a lot of the anticipation for me. Because it's like, yeah, this already happened and I can't go on Instagram or I get spoiled. I can't go on Twitter or I get spoiled. You know, from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, I can't check social medias or I get spoiled on Raw and SmackDown. So when it goes to Netflix, I'm excited to be able to watch live again. But yeah, that's enough Wrestle Talk. Wrestle Dream is this weekend, so looking forward to that. But yeah, in other news, I started an R-Record playthrough. That game was really fun. I was told it was supposed to be super difficult, so I was not planning on beating the first boss in 3 shots, or was it 3 or 4? And however many shots that I beat him. But the game was a lot of fun. The controls are still getting me a little bit, but I don't really want to switch them around. I feel like they're built that way for a reason, and if I start messing with them, I'm gonna put myself in a position where I just think things are gonna work out the way that I want them to. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. The comp system feels cool. The way the mech handles feels exactly how a mech should fucking handle. It reminds me a lot of Zone of the Enders back on a PS2, which I should hop back into at some point because I've only played so much of that game and I loved how it felt. You know, it felt like the perfect mech game. So I should probably pick that up at some point and finish it off. What the? Avoided the attack, bro. Waiting this week for Rephantasmo or Rephantasia or whatever the fuck. Persona 6, basically. I'm really debating buying Sparking Zero, but the issue there is that the official date, not the pre-download date or whatever you want to call it, is the same day as Rephantasmo, and like that game is gonna get all my attention. So it's like, do I buy Sparking Zero? Am I gonna get time for it? And the thing is, right now I don't have PlayStation Plus, but all my friends who are gonna play it are gonna have it on PlayStation. So it's not just like a $70 purchase for me. It's like an almost $200 purchase because I gotta get PlayStation Plus back and up and running. Which sucks, as you know, here on my computer, online play is free, but on the PS5 it's locked behind the paywall. So it's a weird spot. So I don't know. I want to play it, but just the timing isn't there, and like just the cost is a lot to ask right now. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe in a couple days I fold and just buy it anyways. I picked up Zelda. I've been playing it off and on, I probably have like an hour and a half or 2 hours at most. And most of that was just tutorial and walking around. I got to the first dungeon, but I just haven't had time to play it. And now that I do, I'm trying to play Armored Core as well. And I realized today that I haven't played Yakuza 0 in like 4 months because of how hot it's been. So I got to get back to that at some point. There's a ton of games on my plate, and I know that once Friday comes around, I'm dedicating as much time as I can to Persona 6, basically. So it's I wish I had more free time, you know, but we'll make it work. I could swear that route was way longer before. But yeah, it just there's so many games coming out that I want to play or that I'm already playing, and then Sparking Zero's coming out, but it's that rough time where, man, you're coming out on the day of a game that I'm gonna be locking myself into. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to fucking Metamorpho or whatever the fuck. Metaphor. No, bro. Fuck off. Yeah, a lot of great games, and I do not have the time to play them all. Yeah, I'm really just looking forward to being able to play Metaphor in the next couple of days. I wish it had come out earlier. You know, it just bums me out because I have the week off and just missed it. You know. But you know, I got Zelda, I got Armored Core, I got Yakuza, I got stuff to play. One thing I forgot to talk about last week was the new Yakuza game, the Pirates in Hawaii. I want to play that game when it comes out. The issue is that I'm still in Yakuza 0, so I don't have enough about Majima's story to feel like I should play that game yet. But like, I also want to play it on release so I avoid as much spoilers as possible. So I'm just wondering, like, do I take the next like 4 months and just rush through as Clobopus? But yeah, I don't know. Do I just like dedicate as much time as I can to beating that series before Pirate comes out? I've fallen in love with the Yakuza series, man. It's just, it sucks because I bought them all on the PS5, and then just got in a situation where it's like, yeah, it's too hot to be playing the PS5 right now. So I haven't had the chance to keep up with it, and I have my Steam Deck. I could have bought them all on Steam Deck and been making progress through the series, but I fucked up, and I don't want to rebuy them on the Steam Deck now because it's like I already had them on the PS5, you know. So yeah, I'll figure it out. The game looks cool. I wish I could play it, you know, now, but we got a long way to go before then. Okay, I'm just gonna capture Pokemon here, and then I'm gonna back out. You know, who's in my first spot? I don't remember what level the Pokemon in here are. Maybe Tommy would be a better. No, because we could always switch out Tornadus into something else. Okay, Graveler. I don't know who my best switch in here. Probably big one, just for the level and type. Let's hit a rock tomb here. And let's just try to go for as little damage as possible. Right, so I want to talk about Dan. Episode 1 came out, and animation quality, fucking fantastic. Like, that anime looks beautiful. I've read parts of it. I remember reading the first couple arcs, and I enjoyed it, but I forgot all about the whole rape alien subplot thing, and it sucks because I really want to recommend this show to people, but that scene it's a hard sell. It's hard to be like, hey, there's a really uncomfortable scene in that first episode. Shit like that never happens again. But it's just, it's a hard sell. What do I want to name this Graveler? So rock electric. I don't know. I pray he never lives up to his namesake. Yeah, it's really good. I like what I read of the end, but I was just kind of like, hey, you know what? This is a really action-based series. I'm gonna wait for the anime to drop. And then when it came out, I completely forgot about that subplot and was just like, man, this is a hard sale. It's a real hard sale, you know. So I don't know. I don't know where I really stand on recommending to people, because maybe once we're like 10 episodes in, I could be like, hey, check out that first season. There's one scene, it's kind of rough. It never happens again, you know. But right now, it's like, hey, check out this wonderful episode. I swear it gets better. Yeah, I can't stop listening to the song, to the intro, and watching that. Just the animation quality in that thing. It's so good. It's so good. What type is it? Steel? Normal? Like that part where they're fucking hitting the Carlton dance. I was like, damn, bro, this is amazing. This is what I needed. There's other anime that I've been meaning to catch up on, and I just have not sat down and made time for, like Hell's Paradise, Dr. Stone, stuff that I need to catch up on. Even Spy Family. And like Spy Family, I kind of stopped watching just because I was watching it with my ex, and then after that breakup, just the whole idea of that family show just made me sad. But I'm over that shit now, so like I should probably hop back on Spy Family. I could have had a Tapu Koku. Damn. What could have been? Been reading more Berserk. I don't know, man. It's weird reading everything and just watching them all be happy and knowing Griffith's gonna do some fuck shit, you know. And it's crazy because like I know what happens. You know, like and as the reader, you read that first couple chapters, you see Griffith and Guts have their conversation. You know that this shit's not gonna end well. But then when Griffith's just like, yeah, here's my fucking necklace. It looks weird, right? And Guts is like, yo, what the fuck? That shit caught me off guard. I was like, oh, I didn't think they were gonna establish it that early. I thought it was gonna be something like, you know, they stumble upon it during their adventures, and then that's how, you know, Griffith turns. But no, this fucker already had it and was just like, yeah, you know, you kind of got to sacrifice stuff to, you know, activate his powers or whatever. I ain't doing that shit though, you know. But Guts, you'll die for me. I was like, oh damn, okay, I see how it is. Having a lot of fun with it. Do I just let's just fly. Chainsaw Man still being great. One Piece just still being great. Like I had all these questions for both of those series, and just it's waiting on the answers. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like a good time to be reading those manga. I'm still trying to like process the ending of the JJK. Just man, what disappointment. Let's see. Like I guess time to talk about Joker. What a shit movie, man. That was man, what a disappointment. I heard the negative reviews and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna give it a chance. You know, Dark Knight Rises got a shit ton of negative reviews because people were just like, oh, it's not what I wanted, it's not what I expected. And I was like, it's probably the same hater energy going into this movie. No, that movie is legitimately ass. It just feels like it was ashamed of itself. I remember watching the first Joker, and it was such a weird feeling because the entire, not like publicity campaign, but the way that media was acting was really fucking weird during that time period. It was like they wanted a mass shooting to happen. It was like they were desperately hoping that there'd be a copycat of the Dark Knight Rises shooting. And I remember going to the theater that night. This was opening night, and there were police inside the movie theater, which I've never seen before or since, you know. And it was just this weird moment. And I remember every time that someone got up in the theater to like go to the bathroom or grab a snack or whatever the fuck, you could feel the tension in the room. You could see everyone like look over at that person. And then when nothing happened on that scale, it felt like the media switched over to, why are we glorifying killers? Why are we glorifying this behavior? And it was like, I don't think the movie's doing that. You know, Joker 1 was very, very clearly a story about a man who just had a shit life and who was being abused and taken advantage by society. A man who was desperate for help, and just the world kept crushing that help. It took away the therapy programs that were helping him. It took away funding. We find out his mom has just been lying to him and fucking him up the entire time. And that's not to say that Arthur's a good guy. You know, he's clearly got a bunch of issues, and he fucking kills innocent people. But yeah, it was like, it told a really straightforward story, and you sympathize with Arthur. You're like, damn, this dude's lived a hard life. And you know, you understand, like, hey, he got pushed to the edge, and he wasn't strong enough to handle it at that point, you know. And then Joker 2 just kind of says, yeah, remember how, like, he became this symbol and people were, you know, idolizing him and sympathizing with him, and yeah, fuck all that. Nah, he's a loser. And it was just weird. It felt like they were desperate to make sure people know, like, hey, don't be like this dude. Ignoring that they wrote him to be sympathetic in that first movie. Or maybe they didn't write him sympathetic. Maybe they just fucked up and wrote him sympathetic on accident. But yeah, just like, I'm gonna go into spoilers. Not that anyone gives a shit about Joker spoilers at this point, but the movie opens with an animated scene where it shows Joker and his shadow arguing, and the whole time it's supposed to be like, okay, the Joker persona took over. If you want to argue the idea of the Joker is what he was combating, sure, but then it ends with the shadow giving back control after killing a bunch of people, just in time for the cops to beat Arthur. And it's like, all right, so it's showing us that Arthur was desperate for a voice, and the Joker persona took that voice away or didn't let him speak, and now it's giving him control back when it's time to get punished. All right, cool. Establishing the two persona plotline. That's the whole defense's argument. And then the end of the movie is him just going, nah, none of that shit's real. I'm the Joker. Me and Arthur, I'm Arthur Fleck, Joker, he don't exist. And it's like, okay, well, that was what the beginning foreshadowed. This is what the plot kind of revolved around. Okay. It felt like it never took off. It felt like they kept setting plot lines up and then not delivering on them. Like, to me, one of the biggest was the prisoners and the Saints Go Marching In. The whole time it's building like, yeah, they're gonna riot to the Saints Go Marching In. And then it's like a 30-second scene where they start singing Saints Go Marching In, the guards get mad and beat up the prisoners. Then they kill Joker's homie, and then do they sexually assault Joker? It felt weird. And the part that pissed me off the most about this movie was the fucking car bomb at the ending. Because there's zero foreshadowing for that shit. It just fucking happens and... Fuck. Right now the plan is to go to second... Oh, what's the... Oh no, it's not even right. I don't know if I have it in me to play Snake Eyes for hours on it. That was my bad. I should have switched you out. I was so busy. I didn't realize that we were fucking against Tapukoku. Damn it. The car bomb. It comes out of nowhere. And all they had to do was establish things where it's like, yeah, the media circus around this is bringing up ideas of a potential attack on the courthouse. They're amping up security. Joker's followers, they're growing more and more violent every day. But we didn't get that shit. And instead it was just like, yeah, there's a fucking car bomb. Harvey Dent gets Two-Faced, but not Two-Faced. It just felt weird. I felt confused for most of the movie just because we established in Joker 1 and the very beginning of this movie that, Arthur has these illusions. He has these fantasies that we see. And, man, I fucking lost Tornandus like an idiot. But, we see that these are illusions in his head. So then Joker has this, like, first musical number in front of his fellow inmates where he starts singing, and it's like, okay. They quickly establish, hey, all of the singing and dancing, that's in Joker's head. Cool. And then the next dance number is the Harley one. And, man. And it's like, okay, this is all in his head, right? No, that shit happened. That was for real. And it just felt like, after that point, I was like, alright, so the dance scenes aren't all in his head. Some of them are happening for real. But why? And I don't know, man. It just, it felt like the whole movie was waiting for the Joker to show up and then kick in the plot. And then he just never shows up. It's Arthur the entire time. It's just a fucking miserable slog. Like, I genuinely need to understand how they came to this idea in writing the movie of the prisoners are all being abused by the guards. The guards are, you know, abusing these mentally ill people to just have a laugh. And the payoff to all that, the way that storyline concludes, is that Joker gets sexually assaulted and they kill his friend. Like, that's the payoff. That's what the guards get for being pieces of shit the whole movie. And if you want to argue, oh well, you know, they're treating Joker shittily, yeah, that's fine. That's Joker, whatever. They were also treating they're also treating like his homie badly. They were treating other dudes who were clearly, you know, not all there like complete shit. So it just felt like a weird thing to do. I don't know, man. It bums me out because I love Joker 1. I thought it was a great movie. And then Joker 2 just felt like it was ashamed of what it had done. That being said, music, I love the music. The fucking brass hits, that shit was nice. I watched it in IMAX, which I kind of regret because I didn't know that IMAX doesn't fucking have reclining seats, first of all. So the whole time I'm just like, oh, I guess I'm fucking not relaxing. The fucking armrests were a little higher than I thought they were. So I was like, I felt like this the entire time. It just was weird. But hearing those brass hits, I was like, damn, that is some nice low brass. I don't know. I thought the acting was fine. I thought Joaquin and Gaga did great. I don't know why I made that sentence sound funny, but I thought they did great. It just, the material sucked. And I don't know, man. Honestly, I say you make Joker 3. And you just start off and Arthur's just alive. And the whole movie we just see multiple different stories of how he becomes the Joker. And that's it. I don't care about the story. Just give him some multiple choice bullshit. Ignore the ending of the second movie. Ignore the second movie in general, honestly, and move on from there. Just bums me out, man. Just bums me out. But then you got Penguin. Penguin's fucking killing it, man. I'm worried about this boy Victor. Every episode, I'm just like, dude, just run away, Victor, please. Just run away. This shit ain't worth it. But the coolest part of this last episode, you know, spoilers for Penguin episode 3, we get to see the Riddler bombing from a civilian standpoint. And that shit was cool as fuck, because I forgot about it. I was just watching Victor hang out with friends, like, oh, that's a cool flashback. And the bombs started going off, and I was like, what the fuck's happening? And then we see the flood coming in, and I was just like, oh shit. Like, it hadn't even hit me that you know, this is something that he experienced, and like that we were at some point gonna see. But man, just Penguin is killing it, just absolutely killing it. I'm loving Penguin. I'm loving Sophia. Just, man, had to watch the Batman afterwards just to watch the taste of Joker out of my mouth, you know. Man, I want to know more about the Batman 2, man. It was so good. It understood, you know. it's been so long since the Dark Knight trilogy. We had the fucking Man of Steel universe for the longest time. It's just, man. Do I have to... I don't remember how to do this dungeon properly. We're just gonna keep walking around. This is the first floor? No? Did I talk about Ultimate Spider-Man last week? I don't remember if I did or not. Yeah, I must have. But just thinking about it again, what a great comic book. I gotta catch up on the other issues. The reason I had to wait for the trade was that I didn't know it came out when it did, and I missed the first issue, and my local comic store just never got a second shipment. So I was like, I guess I'm waiting until September. So now I gotta catch up because the next trade isn't coming out till March, and I'd really like to be reading this series as it comes out. It's just nice to see Peter grow. And then Absolute Batman comes out later this week. I'm gonna pick it up. I'm so conflicted on it because the design of Batman just looks so fucking stupid. Just this absolute brick of a fucking person. But I'm hoping that I'm just like, hey, I hope that you guys figure this shit out because I miss the DC universe. I miss how much I loved it. And I've given up hope on the main universe ever going back to that. I was rereading some Multiversity this past, like yesterday actually. Man, I forgot how much I loved the DC universe, and just I'm hoping the Absolute gives me a way to get some of that back. But the fucking giant behemoth of a Batman is not. It's not the most promising idea. So we'll see what happens there. I don't remember how to do this dungeon. I know I gotta fall off at some point. But yeah, like, I also bought Zatanna last week, and I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I don't remember if I talked about it last week. I got the book. Did not fucking realize that shit was $50 until I got it scanned for the price, and I was like, huh. But I was like, hey, I trust Paul Dini, so I'm gonna get it. But $50 is a lot. And then when I looked online, people were just like, yeah, you know, it's Paul Dini. Zatanna books usually aren't in print for very long, so the value just kind of skyrockets. And I'm like, I mean, I'm gonna read it, so my spine's gonna be fucked up, and you know, it's not gonna be like in a selling condition later. So I'm not selling this shit. It's just gonna be part of my collection forever. But I guess that's cool that the retail value goes up or some shit. I don't know, man. It's a weird mindset to have. Like I just feel like it's weird to buy things with the idea of, oh, I'm gonna sell them later for money. Because when I buy things, I'm like, no, this is my property. I'm gonna have it until I die or have to sell it off for some reason. Like, it's never like, oh, I'll sell this off. It's always like, I guess I kind of need the cash, so I'll sell it, you know? Yeah. I'm hoping Absolute's good. I thought they were all dropping on the same day, where it was like the Absolute Trinity would just drop and then you'd be good to go. Instead, it's like, I think Wonder Woman comes out in 2 weeks, and then Superman comes out in November. So I'm interested in knowing why they released them that way, but we'll see, I guess. I want to get more into the Ultimates line. I think it'd be a nice little gateway into Marvel that I haven't bothered to do before. So we'll see how I feel about that in the next couple weeks, because I'm interested in it, but I feel like I'm mostly just doing it for whenever the events come up for Spider-Man. But you know, we all got to start somewhere, and Spider-Man's as good a place as any to be the way we learn about this new universe. Card game wise, got my Shattered Stars today. I pulled a bunch of the first circles, or whatever. Is the first circle? That's the Pat Metheny song. Whatever they're called, the circle cards. I might be first circle. I didn't get a full set, which bummed me out. I got 3 of the 4 spirits, and I was like, man, so close to just having the full set. I don't know if I did the wrong way. Pulled 1 copy of the Moose. I was gonna do an unboxing for it, but I was like, nah, I want to open these now, and was being kind of lazy about it. Pulls weren't bad, but I felt like this was like the weakest one of the Shattered Stars. I get the idea, and it's a cool idea to celebrate and everything, but what I liked about the past Shattered Star sets was that they just gave you a solid library of cards, and like if I wanted to buy a Thunder deck, I'd be like, all right, yeah, let me get that Thunder pack, because you get spirits, you get a nice little core to work with for your type, or for your spirit type. And then with these packs, I just didn't really feel like they were at the same caliber. I like the 2 new monsters introduced in the lunar stuff, but I don't know. I would have preferred support from each spirit type. I don't know. That's just me though. In terms of Yu-Gi-Oh, I feel so emotionally checked out. Watching the prices of Molkemi go up, that shit was depressing, man. Like, I think it was like 500 for the QCR, which I immediately was like, yeah, I'm never even touching that shit. But then, like 120 plus for the regular secret rare, like that shit's beyond fucked. I don't even want to think about that shit. I don't know, man. Seeing all the reports from these regionals and YCSs where they're just super low in attendance feels good, honestly, because I'm hoping it's just people saying, hey, I'm not participating in this shitty format right now. There's other formats I want to play with Yu-Gi-Oh, but I don't know, man. Just the current status of the game is really depressing. I've been playing more Pokemon. I was gonna buy the Charizard X deck stuff, but I was like, hey, the deck comes out next month, reprints a bunch of stuff. I'll just wait. I'll pick up another deck to wait until then. But then I looked at like the staples that I would need for all the other decks, and it was like, oh, I need another 3 copies of Avern, whatever his name is. And I was like, those are $4 each. Oh, the Charizard X deck comes with 3 copies. Oh. Okay, well, I could buy 3 copies for $12 minimum. Holy shit, that was scary. I could buy 3 copies for 12 minimum, or I can buy 1 Charizard X deck for $30 or whatever, and then have that set included. And there's a bunch of other staples that I'm missing too, where they all come in the Charizard X deck in multiples. So I'm just like, I think I just wait. As much as I would like to have physical cards now, I think if I just wait the month, I can just buy the Charizard X deck and have everything I need. So that's where I'm at with Pokemon TCG. Been playing online, and I was gonna be testing other decks that weren't Charizard decks, because I was like, oh, I'll test for whatever I'm gonna get in the next couple weeks. No, I'm just gonna wait for Charizard X. That deck is a lot of fun. just because of how busted the Terra Charizard X is. You put it on the bench, and then you just get hella energies for no fucking reason. Yeah, okay. Card is insane. But yeah, so my Pokemon journey's kind of stalled physically because the Charizard X deck is just too good of a deal to pass up, and it's hard to justify paying, you know, 40 plus bucks for all the staples that I'm missing when I could just pay the 20 or 30 in a month and then have that deck ready to go. So if anything, maybe I should pick up like Miraidons and stuff, so that way when I do buy Charizard X next month, that I just have other decks I can switch out, you know, core wise. Haven't had a chance to play One Piece TCG yet. I've been meaning to make time. I haven't. I've been kind of preoccupied with Pokemon and Elestrals, especially with the Elestrals ban list that came out or kicked in like a couple days ago. It made deck building a lot harder for Elestrals because I'm so used to just shoving 3 Earthquakes and everything, and now that option's gone. And I'm not a fan of Laurels that much, but you have to run it because Earthquake's at 1. It's at the point with some decks where I feel like I should just cut Earthquake because it doesn't feel good to just have those 2 Earth Spirits in the deck for just that 1 Earthquake. But then again, I keep coming back to Earth. Every time I try to play another deck, I'm just like, man, that was a rough matchup. You know, it would have been a good matchup if I was playing Earth. And then I play Earth and I win. And I'm like, man, why am I not just sticking with this deck, you know? So, I don't know. There's stuff I want to do for Elestrals deck-wise, but it's just hard to justify because I've only been playing Earth. And I haven't had a chance to enter the tournaments because they're all fucking East Coast time-based, bro. You know what a pain in the ass it is to be like, oh, hey, it's Sunday, one of my only 2 days where I can sleep in, and then wake up at 7 a.m. for Elestrals? Like, it's a lot. That's asking a lot, bro. That's asking a lot. I don't know if I have it in me to do that right now. I hope they start doing East or West Coast tournaments, or that more local start taking Elestrals here, because it's a fun game. I enjoy playing it, but it's not as accessible as I'd like to be. I'm really hoping that the Kickstarter for the what's it called, for the simulator works out well, because I want to be playing more, but just the opportunities aren't really there in a manner that isn't waking up at 6:30 a.m. on a Sunday. But yeah, I don't know, man. Just weird spot for the card games right now. I wish I could play more. I wish I had the time to play them all, or at least the ones that I want. But just being an adult gets in the way sometimes. Same thing with all the video games I talked about earlier. It's like all these things that I want to do and just don't have time for, or that get in the way of each other, and it just sucks. But it is what it is. If my biggest issue in life is that I don't have enough time for my video games, I think I'm doing pretty well in life. I gotta sit you out. I can't risk taking a fairy hit and losing my boy. I don't think I'm close to finishing up this tonight. I thought it'd be a easy run, but I have forgotten the layouts of this place and feel like we're just kind of wandering around. That didn't kill you? Oh, are you not a fairy? You're just like pure electric here? I feel like all run I've been hitting you with steel type attacks when I could. And I guess just been that Metagross has been strong enough to stomp, but okay, I'm gonna put on some repels because I just want to try to get to the end of this place. just don't remember how to get anywhere here. Let's see here. Is it that one on this floor? And I don't have anything that's like a safe switch into waters. Let's toss in Calyrex and hit that Giga Drain and just start leveling him up. Man, like Mario and Luigi comes out next one too. Man, just there's just game after game that I want to play, and the game that I'm waiting on the most, more than anything, is the fucking Spider-Man 2 DLC. And they haven't said a goddamn word about that shit. Next month, it's a year since the release of the game. We haven't heard a damn thing. And I'm like, dude, there were so many plot lines that were like, hey, this is the DLC setup. And we've heard nothing. Every fucking state of play, I'm like, alright, this is it. Let's hear about Spider-Man 2. And then we don't fucking hear shit about Spider-Man 2. And I'm like, what are we doing, bro? Why am I sitting here learning about fucking Lego Horizons when Spider-Man 2 DLC is just unannounced? Like, it bugs the fuck out of me. How much longer do I have to wait to jump back into Spider-Man 2? I'm ready, man. I'm ready to hop back into that world. That was a crazy shit, bro. Yeah, like, I'm ready to play Spider-Man 2, and for some reason, they just refused to drop the DLC. Like, I don't. What's taking so long? And I don't even need it to be like out next month. You know, I don't need it to be immediately in my hands. I just need a fucking release date. I just need to know, oh, it's coming out in December? Alright, tight. Oh, next January? Okay, cool. I can wait till then. Nothing. Just fucking nothing. You know, I was really hoping I could finish this dungeon up tonight, but I'm getting sleepy. So I think I'm going to finish up this battle and then just call it a night. I didn't realize that I had forgotten the layout of how to do this dungeon. And I feel like it's something that I've never had to think about before. It's been so ingrained into what I do, and I don't remember shit about it. Overall, pretty tragic run through today. We lost TornandUs because I was being dumb. We caught a Graveler and a Zoomerang. So, I mean, we got new teammates, but man, we've been on a real losing streak when it comes to the party these past couple weeks. So let's hope that changes next week. Until then, peace.